Hello and welcome to Microtech VPN Tunnels course. In this course we will explain about what is VPN and what type of VPN connections we have. First of all, we have to know what is VPN. VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. For example, if I have two sites, each site in one country. For example, if I have one site in Middle East and one site in America. So how I will connect these two LANs or these two local area networks together? I will use VPN to connect these two networks. We will make this one over two routers. For example, if I have one router in Middle East and one router in America, so I will create one of them as a VPN server and the second one as a VPN client. So this VPN server, let's say I have here the HQ as we can see in the diagram, and I see the remote VPN client. So I have here two networks. This is a private network 192.168.2.0/24 and 192.168.1.0/24. So these two networks are different. So we cannot communicate until we have connection or until we have route from this network to this network and vice versa. So we will create VPN tunnel and we will use or we will select the VPN protocol. I will discuss later about VPN protocols because we have many VPN protocols, and sometimes you have, for example, to use PPTP instead of L2TP, and when you have to use OpenVPN instead of L2TP or SSTP. So we will know this later. The most important thing, the diagram, you will understand how VPN is working. So we will create VPN tunnel. This headquarter have public IP address or dynamic DNS. For example, let's speak about public IP address first. Most of us, we know public IP address is a public IP, you can access it from anywhere. So I can tell this remote, for example, this remote in Middle East and this in USA, the headquarter. So I will connect this one to this VPN server via public IP address. I will give him this public IP address and it will connect. Then I will create my VPN tunnel as a PPTP VPN tunnel, and I will then I can ping from this network to this network. But the problem here, sometimes I don't have public IP address, or the public IP address is coming from DHCP server from my ISP. ISP sometimes provide dynamic public IP. Sometimes will give you 103.31, for example 178.1 or .2. Then after 10 minutes this IP will change, and after 50 minutes again will change again. So we need to assign this public IP to something like fixed, will not change ever, will be fixed like domain name, like www.facebook.com. We know www.facebook.com sometimes maybe will take you to public IP address, sometime will take you to another public IP address. So let's take, for example, let's see how dynamic DNS here in Microtech. If I go to Microtech, then I go to IP cloud, we can see here dynamic DNS. Each Microtech router there is built-in dynamic DNS. This dynamic DNS always connected to your public address. As you can see now, this public IP address after 10 minutes or 15 minutes maybe this IP address will change. So this the problem. We need something fixed because I can't every time change my remote site public IP address. For example, I tell this remote site connect to this public IP. I can't change the configuration after 15 minutes or 20 minutes and I tell him connect to another public IP address. We need something fixed because we don't need any downtime. So we will enable the dynamic DNS in Microtech. So this dynamic DNS will attach always to our public IP address. Okay, so now we know the difference between dynamic DNS and public IP address. Also, we have to know that ISP close most of the ports of a VPN. So for example, if the ISP give me dynamic IP, so we know how to fix it through dynamic DNS, but still we have issue that the ports are closed. For example, if we speak about PPTP, point-to-point tunneling protocol, this is VPN protocol used 1723 port working under TCP. So this ports, if you test it, through any tool like you get signal tool, we will check it later, you will see this port is closed. So how we can open it? So we will open it through the modem that coming from ISP, because mostly ISP give us modem, then we put our router. This modem we have to open the ports. For example, if we want to run PPTB, we have to open 1723. If you want to open L2TB, we have to open 1701 and 4500 and 500. So we have to open these ports, not even open the ports. We have also to forward all this traffic in these ports to this router. Also we have to trigger these ports. Also we have to put our router IP address in something called DMZ zone. DMZ zones, it's mean everything open to this router, like it's facing the internet directly. Whatever connection it's coming, just let it go, or whatever connection coming from this IP in DMZ zone going to internet, just let it go, because this one is in DMZ zone, means in like special priority for this router. So also we will discuss about VPN protocols. We have many VPN protocols, as I tell you before. We have first thing PPTP, point-to-point tunneling protocol. This PPTP protocol, they name it as rapid VPN protocol, because this VPN protocol is very fast. Why is very fast? Because if you see the MTU size, if you search about PPTP MTU size means window size, they name it sometimes. MTU size means the size of the packet, of the PPTP packets that going from the computer to, or from the router to outside. The MTU size is 1460. And if we see the L2TB VPN protocol, L2TB stands for Layer 2 Tunneling Protocol. This L2TB protocol is using 1500 and plus 40 bytes over IBUDB and L2TB headers, means it take around 1540. So this one using more MTU size than PPTP protocol. So we will know just in brief, PPTP is MTU size 1460, working under TCP protocol and using 1723 port number. So this one is very important, because later we will open these ports in our ISP modem. Second protocol, we have L2TP, Layer 2 Tunneling Protocol. Layer 2 Tunneling Protocol used 1500 plus 40 bytes for over UDP. So L2TP is working over UDP, and this the MTU size 1540, and the ports for UDP is 1701, and also using 4500 and 500. For example, if we search here for L2TP ports, you will see here the ports are 1701, as I tell you, and 500 and 4500. This 4500, the IPsec ports, or for encryption. These ports are used for encryption, as we can also encrypt PPTB. By default there is not too much or no many encryption and decryption, because that PPTB is more faster than L2TP and more faster than OpenVPN, because there is no a lot of encryption and decryption. So you will see the MTU 1460. But also we can secure our PPTB over something called GRE. So over GRE we can encrypt our PPTB connection, but this one we will discuss maybe later or in another course in security, how we can solve this one. But by default in L2TB is more secured, because it's using a lot of encryption and decryption, and there is some ports are for decryption and encryption for L2TB. So L2TB working under UDP and using port 500, 1701 and 4500. Another VPN protocol, we have OpenVPN protocol. Why they named OpenVPN protocol as this name, OpenVPN? Because actually it's in most of countries they cannot block OpenVPN. Why? Because OpenVPN, you can run it in special ports. For example, the OpenVPN port is 1194. You can change this port from 1194 and you can make it through 443. As we know, nobody can close 443 port. Why? Because if you open any website like YouTube, Google, Facebook, or any bank, you will see HTTPS, and we know HTTPS is working under 443 port. So if the ISP close the 443 ports, that means you cannot open any social media website or any bank. So OpenVPN, we can make it run under 443 ports. For example, I will let you see here. If I go to PPP, I can change this OpenVPN from 1194 to 443. So in this scenario, nobody can close 443, and it will work with me. In some countries, they close the 443, let's say. Okay, so OpenVPN is working in port 1194 by default, and the MTU, or the default size for MTU, is 1500. That means OpenVPN more heavy than L2TB. L2TB is faster than OpenVPN. Why? Because OpenVPN to authenticate the client or the site, for example, I have this site, as we see. If I want to connect this site with this site, we have to use something called certificate, CA, certificate authority. And this certificate, sometimes if you will any client, you will authenticate this client with the server, so this certificate, maybe it will take a lot of encryption and decryption, the keys of this certificate, so it will take a lot more than size of packets than L2TB, so it will take the 1500 MTU. So better always think about the VPN protocol, which type you have to use. Like PPTP is the faster, but it's not secured. L2TB, it's good, it's secured, and it's a little bit faster than OpenVPN. And OpenVPN, we sometimes use it in the closed, some countries they close the ports, so we can change it to 443. SSTP is similar to OpenVPN, because it's using same window size, 1500, and it's very secured. Also SSTP is good, but we have to know that SSTP is only for Windows. We cannot use SSTP in Linux machines. For example, if I let you see now here, SSTP protocol, if you go to wiki, I don't know if they write about it. SSTP it should be. So this SSTP, if we go to wiki, secure socket tunneling protocol, also we say 1500 for window size for MTU, and this here VPN also supports SSTP multi-protocol capability. Okay, SSTP is available for Linux, PSD, and Windows. Okay, that's good, but I think SSTP is for Windows is available on Windows Vista SP1, but I think I read about it before. It's if we search about SSTP provider, yeah, VPN SSTP is developed by Microsoft. Okay, is an upgrade from PPTP. Is considered most secure protocols integrated into Windows. So this SSTP integrated into Windows, but actually, as we read, it can support Linux and BSD. So you have to choose which VPN protocol you will use. You will use PPTP or L2TP or OpenVPN or SSTP. SSTP port is working under 443. If we go to SSTP, this is the default port F443 for SSTP. So this for now. We will discuss later about how we can configure VPNs and what difference between site-to-site VPN and remote-to-site VPN. goodbye.